Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started with my lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim HaKakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone. Salutations and blessings to the Akim that do this work in truth and sincerity. And the topic that I wanted to get into is, it is better to go to the house of sorrow than to go to the house of mirth. It is better to go to the house of sorrow, than the house of mirth. The house of feasting, which is, everything that this world promotes. Now, we know that we are, in the flesh, and we're in this kingdom and it's hell. I'm not saying that you're not able, to have a good time. It's probably, really, to be honest, better to have a good time at your house than really to go out and have a good time. Just because, considering the times that we're in evil times. And, like the apostle said, before, try to stay away from, these clubs, these bars, because ultimately, these people got demons on them, and, it probably wouldn't be wise. Most likely it wouldn't be wise, let's just say that. But, and if you do decide to, man, just move with discretion and wisdom, and, your spirit is going to tell you when to get up out of there, But, again, we don't really advise to poke your head into those type of situations, because we know that these people don't deal with wisdom, so they're reckless. But nevertheless, the topic of the lesson is, it's better to go into the house of mourning than to the house of mirth, which is the world. And I'm gonna get a few scriptures, and Lord willing, it'll be edifying unto the elect. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1. And it says, a good name, Shalak, I'm going to start at 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. So it is better to go to the house of mourning. What's the house of mourning? The house of mourning is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and understanding in that it's better to sacrifice the things of the world, for the truth, basically cutting off those fleshly things that you once indulged in before you knew the truth. Going to the club, participating in these, pagan holidays, birthdays, events, and different things, man. Being overly consumed with the world and just, basically rocking yourself back to sleep, man. Going right back to sleep after the Lord then woke you up. Getting into these other philosophies and doctrines, those type of things, man. But again, it says, verse 2, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. The living, the brothers that have the knowledge, wisdom, truth, and understanding, they will lay it to his heart. They will consider it. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. Because through these chastisements and through us sacrificing and losing, we gain something better, in the spiritual aspect of things, As the scriptures say, store up not your treasures on heaven, in Shalakia, slip of the tongue, store up not your treasures, on earth, where it does moth and rust does corrupt, but rather store your treasures up in the heavens where, you know, these things cannot corrupt your riches, man. Build up your spiritual, all right, bank account, all right? So it says the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of the fools is in the house of mirth, all right? And that's our people, that's these nations, all right? They didn't accept the wine of Babylon the Great, as well as these other places around the world, all right? They already laid in the bed with Babylon, and they want to come over here, all right, to do the exact same, man, all right? Be in the house of mirth. It says it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise, all right, than a man to hear the song of fools. So it's better to hear, all right, the rebuke, all right, which is going to tear you down, break you down, and make you a better man, than to hear the songs of fools, man, all right, the doctrines of fools, the things of the world, all right. We're singing to a different tone, all right. We're singing a different song, as the scriptures say, all right, than the world, all right. We're on a different frequency. All right, we on a different whole wavelength than the world, man. All right, we're not even on the same tempo as the world. All right, so we don't even pay attention, all right, to the world or what it's, you know, we don't groove to the world, man. All right, we don't move, all right, to the beat of the world. We move to the beat of the scriptures, man. All right, not even on the same frequency. All right. And that's why the Lord said he chose you out of the world. All right, we on a whole different beat. But let's continue. Let's go here. All right. This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 3. For the time past of our lives may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles. Because at one point, that's what we done. All right, we lived as Gentiles, meaning that we had a Gentile state of mind. All right, celebrating Christmas, celebrating 4th of July, celebrating our birthdays. All right, being into these horoscopes and other philosophies or doctrines of men. All right, but it says, when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, reveling, banqueting, and abominable idolatries, man. All right. So we once lived, all right, in basically the house of feasting, but now, okay, what we put off those things, man. All right, we put off those lusts of the world. We all right. All right. The Lord has sobered us up, all right, by, all right, what this word, all right, it's woken us up. Verse 4, wherein they think it is strange that ye may run not with them to the same excess of riot. So we no longer do the things of the world. It says speaking evil of you, because you don't do those things anymore, man. All right, you realize that it's better, all right, to suffer now and sacrifice now, so that way you can rest, all right, and reap a reward that's everlasting. All right, the scriptures talk about how, all right, the things that are seen are temporary, but the things that are not seen are eternal. So once you spiritually understand that, all right, it doesn't matter what other people say, man. All right, you're willing to, all right, be patient and wait, and that's suffering, and that's sorrow. All right, waiting, all right, for a change to come, and it's evident that it is coming because we see, all right, that this place is on its way down. All right, the exchange of power is being, all right, it's happening before our eyes. All right, this is Proverbs chapter 14, verse 13. It says, even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness, man. So even though you see these people laughing it up, having a good time, these people are depressed, man. All right, they put up a good show, you know, on these social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, whatnot. But in actuality, majority of these people are in debt. All right, their emotions are all over the place. They got demons on them. You know what I mean? So in actuality, man, they're really going through it, man. All right, they just have a mask on their face, man. All right. So again, it says, even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful, and the end of the mirth is heaviness. So the end of that mirth, all right, of all that excess of wine and all those things that they, pretend to be in the world, like they got it like that, all right, trying to keep it up with the Joneses, all right, is what making them broke, all right, barely can pay their bills and debt, all right, depressed, all right, all to impress the world, man, all right, all to be accepted by the world, all right, while the world, all right, persecuted, all right, the perfect man. So why would you want to be a part of the world, man? All right, when the Lord picked you out of the world, all right, to be different. It's crazy. All right, now let me go to the next scripture. This is Philippians chapter 3, verse 19. Whose end is destruction, whose God is the belly, of whose glory is in their shame, whose minds earthly things. All right, so these people of the world, all right, their belly is their God, man. Meaning that the things that they hold, all right, the things that they have, all right, they look at that as their pride and their joy and, basically their social status, okay? They're worried about and concerned about what other people may think about them, all right? They're rather, they're rather, they're rather worry about their self-image, all right, of the world than worry about how the Lord sees them in his eyes, man, which is the only thing that really matters. The only thing that really matters is how the Lord sees you in his eyes. Because I'd rather be judged, all right, being with the Lord than being judged with the world, all right? Meaning I'd rather be judged by the world for standing up for righteousness' sake rather than being judged by God and standing with the world in wickedness. I'd rather do that than be the other way around. So, that's the things to think about and consider, is to be in the house of sorrow, man. All right, be in the house of sorrow, being in the house of humbleness, humbling yourself, all right, and taking the L, taking the low, man, all right. So let me get this one real quick. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So seeing that all these things are going to be tossed away, considering that money's gonna be futile, it's not gonna be worth anything pretty soon, considering that the internet is gonna go down, all right, there's gonna be no more internet, no more power, all the grid is gonna go out, everything is gonna be blackened out, nobody is gonna be consider anything at that point. When the grid goes out, when the power goes out, which ultimately that's what they want to do, when these things take place, what are you then? All right, you're nobody now. You know what I mean? So it's better to have a relationship with the Heavenly Father. All right, it's better to build up that relationship, all right, with the Most High, than to worry about, all right, what self-image you have in this world, man. All right, because all of this, all right, it's going to be dissolved. It's going to pass away like a shadow. Just like when you walk outside and you see your shadow next to you, next thing you know, it's gone, man. That's how this place is going to pass away. All right, it's going to pass away as a shadow. It's going to be no more. All right, it's going to be no more again, man. So it's better to suffer with the Lord, man, because that's what the Lord wants. All right, even in the scriptures, it tells us that it pleased Yahweh, all right, to chasten his son. So that's what the Lord wants us to be. He wants to try us. He wants to see, all right, if we're worthy, all right, to obtain, all right, that crown. All right, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and 14. It says, let go from the mortal thought, It says, let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of men, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For ye greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done thereof. All right, so there's going to come a time that's going to be worse than, anything that you could think of. These little trials and tribulations that we have on this end, things are going to get worse. All right, things are going to get worse for people that are in, basically the world and that's living it up. So the Lord, he told us that these things are going to happen. These things are going to come to pass. All right, you have already been building yourself up through the spirit of understanding this knowledge to the point to where when they come, you've already been, basically, count the cost, man. You know that these things are going to happen. So it ain't going to hit you as hard as the rest of these people, that hasn't received the mercy of the Lord, which is this truth. All right. So let's go on. All right. So basically, again, put off the weak nature, man. All right. Understand that, all right, that this world is temporary, man. All right. This is Luke chapter 6, verse 25. It says, woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. All right. So all these people that are having a good time out there, doing their thing, it seems like, that nothing's happening to them. It seems like they're just getting blessings after blessings. Well, in that day, in the day of the Lord, it says that, they're going to mourn and they're going to weep. All right. And those that are laughing now, they're going to cry and they're going to mourn, So the tables are going to, flip, all right, for us. Although we in this low and bad position, this is only but for a moment. All right, it's only but for a moment, but you must have to have faith and believe that the change is going to come. All right, this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 37. But as the days of Noah, they shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before thee, the flood, Shalakia, for as in the days that they were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage unto the day that Noah entered into the ark. So everything that we see happening here today is just is everything that's playing back again. All right, everybody that was there before is here now. All right, because now we're in the time of judgment. Now we're in the time of the Lord returning. So, everybody's in their lot, all right, doing the same things that they were doing before. Even the elect, all right, teaching and preaching. If they were teachers and preachers before, they're going to be teachers and preachers now, all right? And it says, and now, it says, and knew not until the flood came and took them away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So, it's how it's going to be, all right, basically for the people, man. All right. It says again, and knew not until the flood came and took them away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So that's how it's going to be for the majority of the people, man. It's going to come to them basically as a thief in the night, man. All right. Just as the flood came in those times, man. Unaware, all right, while they was outside, playing and frolicking, doing what they were doing, all right, giving into marriage, or whatever the case may be. Here comes the day of the Lord, like a thief in the night on them, all right, taking them by surprise, all right. And I'm going to end it out on this one right here, all right. This is Sirach chapter 5, verse 7. It says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put off not from day to day. For certainly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth in thy security, and thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. All right, and that's how a lot of people are going to meet, all right, their end, all right. it's gonna meet them, all right, when they least expect it, man. All right, but if you're a man of the Lord, if you're a woman of the Lord, and you know the Lord is going to protect, all right, basically his men, all right, and those who he loves in those times of distress, man. All right, so basically just stay prayed up. All right, they that be with us is more that be with them. You know, so basically the angels are watching over, all right, the elect, man. They're gonna make sure that they'll be all right in that day, like the scriptures say. So continue to stay prayed up. You know, continue to you know, endure, and you know, do what's required of us, man. And the Lord is just gonna do the rest, man. So Lord willing, this video is edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the Akim that do this work in truth and sincerity. Until the next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.